You wake up some mornings feeling like the weight of the world is sitting squarely on your chest. It's not just the physical exhaustion, the dragging muscles, the late nights and early mornings, it's the mental heaviness, the fatigue of constantly thinking, planning, worrying, and trying to prove yourself to a world that seems to never stop moving. You look in the mirror and wonder, am I failing? Am I broken? But here's the truth. You're tired, yes, but not broken. Feeling tired is a signal, not a verdict. It's your body and mind whispering, slow down, take care of yourself, recharge. And yet we live in a culture that glorifies pushing past our limits, treating exhaustion like a badge of honor. We measure worth by how little we sleep, how many tasks we complete, how tirelessly we grind. But rest is not weakness. Real strength is knowing when to pause, when to breathe, when to honor your own humanity. It is courage to say, I need time to heal, to grow, to gather my energy. It is intelligence to recognize that a machine runs best with maintenance, and so does a human being. The moment you begin to understand that rest is part of your power, not a detour from it, you unlock a new perspective. You no longer feel guilt for stepping back. You no longer equate exhaustion with failure. You begin to see that your fatigue is a chapter in your story, not the conclusion. Progress is rarely a straight line. We have this idea that life should be linear. One step forward, another step, success arriving neatly like clockwork. But in reality, growth zigzags, loops back on itself, takes detours, sometimes even feels like regression. You may work tirelessly toward a goal and find yourself in what looks like stagnation. You may put in your heart and soul and feel invisible, like no progress has been made at all. But every step, every struggle, every tiny adjustment is movement. Even when the world doesn't acknowledge your efforts, even when the mirror doesn't reflect the change, your story is still unfolding. Each pause, each setback, each moment of doubt is actually a building block, shaping resilience and character. The person you are becoming is forged not in perfection, but in the relentless continuation despite obstacles. If you remember that tiredness transforms from a sign of failure into a proof of persistence, your journey is your own. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's. Every pause is a reset. Every challenge a lesson, and every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Pain is an inevitable part of growth. Nobody talks about the quiet suffering behind success stories, the sleepless nights, the loneliness, the fear, the moments of despair. Pain is not punishment. It is the language of life teaching you, shaping you, reminding you of your depth and resilience. Every heartbreak, every failure, every moment when you feel like you cannot continue is a seed planted for strength. Pain humbles us, teaches empathy, and illuminates the depth of our own courage. When you experience difficulty, it is easy to believe that you are being singled out, that life is unfair. But pain is universal. It touches everyone in some form. The difference is in how you respond. Do you allow it to break you, or do you allow it to shape you, refine you, transform you? The choice is yours. Recognizing the value of pain doesn't mean romanticizing suffering. It means understanding that discomfort is temporary. But the growth it enables can last a lifetime. Each scar, each struggle, each tear shed quietly in the dark becomes a symbol of your fortitude. Your capacity to endure and to rise, comparison, is one of the most subtle thieves of our peace and joy. In an age dominated by social media, we scroll endlessly through curated moments of other people's lives, measuring our behind the scenes against their highlight reels. We see someone's success, their happiness, their effortless-looking achievements, and we begin to believe we are falling short. But here's the hard truth. Their journey is theirs, and yours is yours. It is not a race unless you allow it to be. Comparing yourself to others robs you of the appreciation of your own unique path. Every person has unseen struggles, silent battles, moments of doubt. Your victories, no matter how small, are significant. Your story is worthy. By focusing on your own growth, your own goals, your own experiences, you reclaim power over your narrative. You create a life defined not by envy or imitation, but by authenticity and courage. Every time you catch yourself comparing, remind yourself that your path may be slower, it may be different, it may be quieter, but it is yours. It is enough. Small wins matter more than we often realize. In a culture obsessed with grand achievements, we overlook the quiet, daily victories, the early wake-ups, the tasks completed, the conversations had with honesty, the courage to face fears. These small wins are not trivial. They are the invisible bricks building the foundation of lasting success and inner strength. They are proof that despite exhaustion, despite doubt, despite fear, you are moving forward. Every time you rise after a failure, every time you take a step, even when tired, every time you choose love over resentment, kindness over anger, courage over fear, you are winning. These moments accumulate, silently shaping a life of integrity, resilience, and purpose. By celebrating them, you reinforce your own worth, fuel your motivation, and cultivate gratitude. Recognizing small wins teaches patience, persistence, and the power of incremental growth. Life does not demand that you leap mountains in a single bound. It only asks that you keep climbing, one step at a time. When we truly understand these first 5 truths, rest as strength, progress as a zigzag journey, pain as a teacher, comparison as a thief, and small wins as building blocks, we begin to shift our perspective entirely. We stop seeing tiredness as a weakness and start seeing it as a sign of effort. As evidence that we are alive, engaged, and striving, we begin to love ourselves through the fatigue, forgive ourselves for the delays, and honor the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. Education is not just formal. Life itself is our classroom. Every moment of struggle is a lesson, every setback is an assignment, and every pause is a chance to study ourselves deeply. Love for oneself grows when we stop punishing our tired bodies and weary hearts. Emotion becomes our guide, not our enemy. We realize that being tired is temporary, but the courage, resilience, and wisdom we cultivate through it are permanent. And so, when you feel exhausted, when the world feels heavy, when the doubts creep in, remember, you are not broken. You are human. You are learning. You are growing. You are winning in ways that may not yet be visible, but are undeniable in the shaping of your spirit. Keep breathing. Keep moving. Celebrate the small victories. Honor your pain. Protect your peace. The path may be long, but your heart, mind, and soul are stronger than you know. You are tired, but you are not broken. And that truth alone carries a quiet, unstoppable power. Life doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. Yet so often, we tie our self-worth to flawless performance, to being the smartest, fastest, the strongest, the most put together. But perfection is an illusion. It is a mirage that leaves us exhausted and feeling inadequate. The reality is that life is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect. That's where beauty lies. Embracing imperfection does not mean giving up or settling. It means accepting that mistakes, failures, and detours are part of your journey. Every misstep teaches something you couldn't learn from success alone. Every failure reshapes your perspective, giving you insights and empathy that perfection could never offer. By learning to embrace imperfection, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure from comparison and from the endless chase of unattainable ideals. You begin to understand that tiredness, mistakes, and vulnerability are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you are human, alive, and growing. Love yourself enough to accept your flaws, your quirks, your limits. They are what make your journey authentic, your experiences valuable, your heart capable of genuine connection. Asking for help is not a defeat. It is a declaration of wisdom and courage. Too often we see vulnerability as weakness, as something to hide. We convince ourselves that we must carry every burden alone, that independence is the ultimate measure of strength. But human beings were never meant to navigate life in isolation. Reaching out, whether to a friend, family member, mentor, therapist, or even a stranger willing to listen, is an act of bravery. It takes self-awareness to recognize when support is needed, and it takes humility to accept it. Asking for help allows you to recharge, to see new perspectives, to heal faster, and to grow stronger. It reminds you that connection is part of the human experience, that empathy and love exist in reciprocity, and that your journey does not have to be solitary. Every time you extend your hand for help, or accept one extended to you, you strengthen not just yourself, but the bonds that enrich life with meaning, warmth, and compassion. Your mind needs training just as much as your body. We instinctively exercise our muscles, but the mind often remains neglected, carrying the weight of stress, doubt, fear, and uncertainty without the benefit of intentional care. Mental maintenance through reflection, meditation, journaling, reading, or even quiet daydreaming is essential to clarity, resilience, and growth. Like muscles, the mind strengthens with practice, patience, and consistent effort. When you take time to understand your thoughts, to challenge limiting beliefs, to cultivate focus, and to nourish curiosity, you build mental endurance. You learn to face odds,